Netflix somehow managed to kill The Witcher twice. First, they fired Superman. Then they replaced him with dollar store Geralt. And the viewers responded by leaving faster than Jasker's ex-girlfriends. As I record this video, a 35% drop in viewership, a 46% Rotten Tomatoes audience score, and a 1.8 Metacritic user score. With ratings in the basement and the critics comparing it to Stabbed Cheese, Season 4 is officially the fantasy equivalent of stepping on a Lego barefoot, repeatedly. What's up, Nerd Nation? It's the Critical Nerd, saving fantasy franchises from Netflix by clowning on the ones beyond help. Today, The Witcher Season 4, a show now only watched by hate watchers and Netflix executives hoping you don't look at the numbers. Spoiler alert, we looked, and they're bad. We're covering reviews, viewership, and fan reaction, not the episodes themselves. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I haven't seen Season 4 yet, but I have read the reviews, the viewership data, and the fan reactions, and gotta say, my eyes may never forgive me just from reading about it. So let's break down how Netflix spent $500 million to create one of the biggest streaming disasters of the decade. If you're new here, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Apparently, I'm one of the few people still willing to tell you the truth about these train wrecks. So let's get into it. Remember Season 1. Audiences loved it. They loved The Witcher. Geralt was badass. The show looked like Game of Thrones with a functioning brain. Then the writers were like, well, let's see here. Who needs source material when you have girl boss lore? Henry Cavill, to his credit, maybe let's follow the books? Netflix executives, how about we fire the guy who loves the IP? And you've got Geralt saying, Season 3 viewership had already collapsed 48% from Season 1. Then Season 4 dropped this past weekend, and oh boy. According to Samba TV, style reporting that is, 577,000 households watched the Season 4 premiere. That's 35% less than Season 3's 885,000 households. That's not a decline. That's a swan dive into a volcano. So let's do a little math here. Might even just call it Steiner math. If Season 1 equals 100% of the audience, Season 3 kept 52%, and Season 4 lost 35% of that remainder. Netflix has hemorrhaged roughly 65 to 70% of the original Witcher fan base. And the reviews? Oh, they're magnifique. Rotten Tomatoes, audience, currently sitting at 46%. Metacritic, currently sitting at 1.8. Rotten Tomatoes top critics, 60%. IMDb, that's hovering somewhere around 4 out of 10. For context, Blood Origin, which is universally panned, by the way, sits in the same crater. Season 4 is now competing with its own failed spinoff. Now, we got to talk about the elephant in the room here, and that's the recast. Henry Cavill, Liam Hemsworth. Henry Cavill is the Witcher. Liam Hemsworth is the Wish-Her. Now, to be clear, this isn't Liam's fault. He's not the problem. He walked into an impossible situation, a shrinking fan base, and writing that had been circling the drain since Season 2. But critics weren't kind. In fact, here's a couple little quotes here. As charismatic as a Ballard in a wig. And second quote is basically invisible. Reshot and composited legacy scenes, which, not surprised, to ease the swap didn't help. They played like parody. Here's the real issue in all this. Henry Cavill was the show for millions. A legit superfan who lobbied for years, knew the books and games, and reportedly pushed back to keep things faithful. The writers, on the other hand, well, multiple reports say they mocked the source material and wanted to tell their story inside the Witcher wrapper. Henry, in diplomat mode, I hope we stick closer to the books. Translated, that means, please stop ruining this. He left after season 3. Fans weren't surprised, just vindicated. Meanwhile, Henry's off to Warhammer 40k, where the people in charge actually like the IP. I gotta say, that's a pretty smart move. The entire season boils down to the same beat. Ciri, where's Ciri? We must find Ciri. I mean, it's on a loop. Season 4 doubles down and introduces the Rats, a TikTok-coded outlaw crew that looks like a D&D poster made by corporate HR. Ciri's descent from the books becomes a glossy, sanitized arc, with changes that remove the darker edges to fit modern optics. Oh, and Geralt? He spends chunks of this season off-screen or sidelined in his own show, because who needs The Witcher in The Witcher? Now, I'm going to go through here a little 5-step guide on how to destroy a franchise. Just amuse me here for a second. Step 1, hire writers who dislike the IP. If your room mocks the books you're not adapting, you're workshopping fanfic. Step number 2, sideline your protagonist. Turn Geralt into supporting cast while others handle the actual plot. Step 3, got to chase after the modern audience. History lesson here. Just hear me out. Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, The Acolyte, Willow, Cowboy Bebop. They'll show up this time, said no data ever. And the fans who do show up, well, they're brushed off as toxic. Step 4, spend $500 million and make it look cheap. Total franchise spend exceeded $500 million, yet costume sets and fights routinely look bargain bin. In step 5, when it eventually crashes and burns, blame the fans. Go read the books if you don't like our version. Let me translate that for you guys in the back. We don't need you. But yet, the numbers, they show a different story. Now, I gotta say, Netflix is chasing a mythical demo that posts think pieces but doesn't watch. In other words, it's the modern audience. Actual fantasy fans, the ones who read the books, play the games, and buy the merch, were told to go kick rocks. And the results? Well, I've read the results. 46% audience score, 1.8 on Metacritic. Historic viewership collapse. And even some of the positives read like hostage notes. Here's one that you guys will like. And I quote, somewhat cheesy, like Gorgonzola impaled by a spear. When your prestige fantasy is compared to stab cheese, it's game over. So what happens now? What happens after season 4? Well, we are getting a season 5. It's been confirmed to be the final season. Not out of narrative triumph, but because it was filmed back to back and Netflix is basically committed to releasing it. Showrunner Lauren Schmidt Hisrich is already stepping away afterwards. Original dream? Well, the original dream was 7 seasons. Reality 5. And a fan base set on fire. Now, we got to talk about the spinoffs because, Blood Origin, it flopped. The Rats got hacked down and dumped. And the animated content landed lukewarm. So, as far as The Witcher goes, I think it's pretty well over. I mean, Netflix, they had everything. They had a passionate lead who loved the material, a massive budget, top-tier fantasy IP, and a fan base ready to adore it. They replaced Geralt of Rivia with Geralt of Rivia Light. sidelined the hero, scolded fans, and spent a fortune making something that scores worse than a YouTube comment poll. I mean, 46% and 1.8? I'm sure that'll comfort shareholders when someone asks where the $500 million went. So toss a coin to your Witcher, because Netflix just tossed a franchise into Mount Doom. So, all right, everyone, that's all I have for today. Drop a comment. Did you watch season 4? Did you make it past episode 1? Can this be saved with a reboot, or is it getting buried next to Rings of Power? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you in the next dumpster fire breakdown. So here lies The Witcher, killed by source material aversion disease. And if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Netflix, well, they just won the grand prize. I'm the Critical Nerd. Peace.